Hey, so this is a beautiful imaginary number 6. This is day 6 on this drawing, and I'm still continuing. As you can see, I've started to fill in a lot of the leaves, and I'm kind of continuing that on up in here. So I'm going to work on that. I think I've come up with a name, and I had to I had to use Google Translate to do it, but I think the name is going to be Sanctorum Animae or Anime. That's basically Latin for holy imaginary. And I like it because I don't know, part of it is just superficial. I think it sounds cool. I'll probably put some kind of numbers in there or something like that. But I love how that word Sanctorum Animi or anime really describes this as the use of the holy imagination or the holy imaginary. Um, I looked up beautiful imaginary, but I liked holy imaginary because number one of the word holy instead of holy and beautiful, I think in some ways are interchangeable a little bit. They have a lot of the same characteristics, but I actually just like the sound uh, of the holy imaginary over beautiful imaginary. That was part of it. So, but anyways, that's where I think I'm going with that. We'll see. I may change my mind, but that's where I'm at right now. So. I wanted to share, beyond that, I want to share two things. One, I'm reading this book called the Philokalia. I don't know how I'm saying it. Philokalia. It's a Eastern Orthodox collection of like spiritual texts and things like that. So I'm on volume 1, and I wanted to read just a real quick couple sentences from Evagrius the Solitary. If you don't know much about this, and I didn't know about this till recently, but basically it's a collection of writings from like different saints and monks and leaders throughout church history, particularly like early church and that kind of thing. So, anyways, a lot of really good stuff in here. But here's one thing I've been thinking about this like all since I read it the other day. I just continue to kind of ponder it. So I just want to talk a little bit about it. It says this. If the intellect has not risen above the contemplation of the created world, it has not yet beheld the realm of God perfectly, for it may be occupied with the knowledge of intelligible things and so involved in their multiplicity. All right? So basically what he's saying here is in order to really contemplate who God is, like you have to go outside of creation. And there's a sense in which I agree with that because, God is the creator, therefore he's separate from his creation. So from an Eastern Orthodox perspective, as far as I understand, we can't know God in his essence. He's beyond knowledge. And so they use theology of from the negative. So they'll say, we can't really say a whole lot about what God is, but we'll say what he's not. That way we can know who he is. It's a certain kind of theological method. So anyways, this kind of falls in that same category where you can't know him directly, and especially if you're like focusing or praying and thinking about things in creation, because once you do that, then you're focused on the multiplicity of things or like all the situations and the issues and all that you're dealing with. But if you really want to get to God, you have to go above that or beyond that. So I struggle with that because on one side, yes, I understand that is correct in the sense that God is beyond us. But the way that Jesus modeled prayer was to pray about the things that we're concerned with here, like that heaven and earth would become one, that God's will would be done here, that we can ask him for our daily needs and our concerns and those kind of things, which all deals with the multiplicity of what's going on here. So it's something I've really been wrestling and mulling over because there's a sense in which, if God is beyond the creation and our life, then really the ultimate goal is to get to God, to be united with him. Then all of our struggles and all that really kind of fade away. And so there's something that's good about that. There's another part though that seems almost Eastern. Well, I mean, it is Eastern Orthodox, but very Eastern in the mindset of emptying the mind or emptying the self in order to get to the essence of God, or as close as you can to relate to God. And there's something about that I don't know if I can fully embrace because of what Jesus and the apostles were teaching about the personal nature of God and how he interacts with us. So it's very difficult to just take one sentence out of someone's writings and like unpack it and all that kind of stuff. But that's just what I was wrestling with on that, and just what is the essence of prayer? Why do we pray? How do we relate to God? Those kind of things. So I've always been taught and always learned and always experienced God on a personal level, to where the multiplicity of my life and the things that are going on, I can share with Him and ask for guidance and wisdom and those kind of things. So the idea of going beyond that, there's a sense in which, yes, you grow beyond your suffering, you grow beyond your station in life, and eventually you're going to die and move on. And so there's a sense in which, yes, I agree with that, but then there's another sense that seems so impersonal, whereas God is personal. So there is a balance. He's not like so overly personal that like He's my best friend, although He is, but He's more than that. He's also holy and separate from us too. So you've got to hold those in tension. So I don't know, just wrestling with that. So that's just something I'm thinking about right now, as I was drawing and as I was reading and those kind of things. The other thing I want to share too is I also love to read comic books, and I found a comic book that I was really impressed with. And I started doing some like comic book reviews as well. I just like short videos that I post, but there is this comic book here called Wasted Space, and man, it is it's by Vault Comics, number 16, and it was really profound, and it was talking a lot about like gods and worldviews and philosophy in the midst of this kind of action-packed and sometimes crude story. It was a really interesting read. So anyways, I'll share a video about that, just kind of things that the author was wrestling with, everything from like pantheism to deism to the point of creation to the point of gods, and what happens if we don't have a God, and is God really just a figment of our imagination? It just brought all that up in a single issue, which was really impressive. So anyways, those were some things I was thinking about, but other than that, like I said, here I am just filling in these. I got some leaves, details, and basically what I do is I'll go in and I'll draw the outline of where I want all the leaves, and then I go back in and fill them in, and then I'll do little circles to represent like fruit, and it just gives another aesthetic element to it to fill in some extra details here. So I am continuing on this journey of getting this mural done, and that's the deal, just continuing on. So I appreciate you all following along as I'm doing this drawing and this mural, as you watch kind of the progress as this goes along. This part, unfortunately, is really tedious, so it's not exciting for you to watch me just sit here and color in leaves, but I wanted to draw a little bit just so you could see the progress that I'm making on this. So anyways, thank you for checking out the episode, and I will have another update here in a day or two. So thanks.